good, y'all? So I was on Twitter and I was just scrolling, just seeing if there was like anything, some news, some local news, and I stumbled across. I stumbled across like Dave Meltzer. So I said, you know what? Let's see what good old Dave is talking about these days. And I seen where he talked about like the whole AEW, and I guess like the ratings was 588,000, right? And I guess he's saying that it doesn't include Max, where I guess Max's numbers would probably be like at least 1 million. So technically AEW this week would have probably drawn like maybe like 1.6 million or 1.5 million viewership, right? Which is very impressive if it was true. It would be very impressive if it's true, because every time they talk about like the whole, it doesn't include Max, it's like, can you clarify what that means, sir? What do you mean it does not include Max? I would love to see the numbers of Max, but every time those questions be brought up, nobody wants to answer it and be like, or give a definitive answer and say, well, this is what the actual numbers really are on Max. But nobody wants to talk about it, because I'm pretty sure the numbers on Max is probably dog shit, so that's why they don't talk about it. But you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about like this weekend of AEW's, I guess, place that they was at, I think in Chicago, and I think it only had like 1,200 people in there, and coming off of their biggest show of their year of having like 23, 24, 25 or 28,000 people in attendance for their all-in show. And you would think that AEW's Dynamite Wednesday would have been action-packed. It would have been talking about like compelling story, because to me, All In was garbage except for like the Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm. I enjoyed that match a little bit compared to everything else on the show. I thought that match was interesting. I thought it was good for its time. I mean, the show was a little clunky, but I thought it was alright. I thought the match was alright. But and the tag team match, I thought was alright. Again, it told like a bigger story because Edge came back and he sort of saved Christian because he wanted to get back at FTR. I thought that was like the only two things that was, to me, that was fine. Everything else was garbage, right? So it's like, you would think, everybody would think, hey, they just came back and everybody thought that, you know, they did well, right? But for some people, they may say that All In was a success, and some people may say it's a step down compared to how it was a few years ago when they was doing like millions of viewers, 900,000, 800,000, but now it's like you're only doing 500,000 and you have like a low attendance audience and you're in a very smaller building. I'm like, when I seen the building on Wednesday, I said, damn, I remember like a couple of years ago, they had like 10,000, 20,000, 13,000. They had like a lot of people in their audience. Now you're down to like 1,000 or 1,100. It's like, Jesus. It's so little. It's like, it's so small. I mean, yeah, it was a nice building. It was really nice. But it's just, damn, like coming off of their biggest show of the year, and then everything on the show felt like lackluster. It was a bit lackluster because when Hangman Adam Page came out, I was thinking, I said, okay, maybe they're gonna start it up. Like the Moxley stuff is done. Maybe they would have said, all right, here is MJF, or here's maybe Swerve, to spice it up a little bit, to be like, well, Swerve comes out and says, well, you know, I saved you, I helped you, whatever, and then like, hey, down the line, I might see you again. They could have done something like that, or had MJF come out and say like, well, since the Death Rider stuff is finished, now I'm going to take the title. It was just none of that. It's just he cut his promo, he said what he said, and that was it. It's like, a little boring. This is not how you follow up an angle with having Hangman beat John Moxley, and then that's just it. And people kept on saying it seemed like soft, safe, boring, lackluster booking. And then you have guys like Dave Meltzer who would say, well, no, this was actually great, it was fine, everything is fine. And to me, Dave Meltzer comes off as like the people from The View, where they just defend everything and they don't really criticize. He doesn't really criticize a lot as what he claims to do about his criticism, or of it being like, you know, they should have done better, they should have done more. Why is it that this shit is like this? It shouldn't have been like this. It's supposed to be more. But nobody wants to admit that right now Tony Khan is like in the middle. He's like in the gray herring. He's like in the middle of, he's not quite there yet as the downfall is with everybody say, oh yeah, Tony Khan's on the down. No, he's not, because he's still like in the middle. And two, something happens where, I don't know, Warner Brothers Discovery, something happens and they say, all right, this AEW shit ain't making us a lot of money, is what we thought it was going to give us, and we want to pull a plug on this. Then Tony would have to go to his father and be like, Dad, they're going to take AEW away from me, do something. That's the only way he's going to probably get his company to be saved, because, again, low ticket selling, scrapping for scripts to get people to come to watch their event, and then they're gonna have another event and All Out, and we're gonna see how those numbers is gonna do. Then I'm hearing rumors that they want to do Wembley again next year, and it's like, that's not a good idea, because I think wasn't it last year? I think they did Wembley, or was it 2 years ago when they had like 50,000 compared to their first time when it was like 80 or 70,000 people in attendance. So it's like, why would you come back to Wembley and it could be less than that? It could probably be 20,000 again. It could probably maybe be 10,000. It's a bad idea for them to even want to attend or even think about doing Wembley again. And again, they're paying the city to put these shows on. It's not the other way around, from what we've been hearing in the report. Is that Tony's been flipping the bill. So he's been flipping all this money, and we would say that he has been getting some investment back, but it should have been more. AEW should have had more eyes than ever. They should have been at millions at viewers. Their viewership should have been millions. It should have been completely with like millions, but it's not like 900,000, 700,000. It should have been millions, because if you think about it, if they would have been doing like actual numbers, then they wouldn't be in this jam. I understand you have people out there who really like AEW and they really love and enjoy everything that they're doing, but here's the problem. If you are a person that sees their house is on fire and you choose not to put out the fire, or you ignore that your home is on fire and you say everything is fine, then you're in denial and you're going to burn to death in your own home because you don't see that there's a problem. And the fact is that when you watch AEW, sometimes the stuff that is being shown is either boring, it's either stale, is fucking beat to death. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's like, what's going on here? You would think that there would be some story, there would be something to the product, but there's clearly nothing. And this is why you have people who was watching AEW at a point just say, fuck this shit, I'm not gonna watch it anymore. And then you got guys like Dave Meltzer who would sit there and just praise the shit out of it and say Tony doesn't do any wrong and Tony's perfect at his job, which makes us think that how much is Tony actually paying Dave at this point? I'm still thinking he gotta be paying him something. Either he's just super completely biased, or Tony's paying him something. It's just that it's an undisclosed agreement that nobody would probably know about. And I'm like, Tony gotta be paying this man a lot of money. He gotta be paying this man a lot of money for him to just turn on his friends and says everything that Tony is doing is right, and everybody else who claims he's doing wrong, I have to defend Tony. Like, it's like, why? Like, why are you defending? Why are you going so hard for Tony Khan? Like, did he promise to buy you a yacht? Did he promise to get you a new dick? Like, what? Why are you going this hard for Tony? Like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense at all. But comment down below what you guys think of Dave Meltzer. Do you think that I'm wrong, and you think that what Dave Meltzer is actually saying about Tony Khan and the numbers, there's absolutely nothing wrong with 588,000. You think that if by the time next year comes and the number is at 400,000 or 300,000, you still would say that, hey, AEW is doing excellent, they're doing well. It doesn't count the numbers on Max, because technically that would be 2 million on Max, maybe 3 if you're lucky on some days. Or you may see it as, nah, man, Tony doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, man. Get this man out of fucking creative. He don't know what he's doing. Stop having wrestlers dictate your show and be the boss. Be the boss and tell them no. Tell them this is how we're going to do things or you're fired. I don't know. But like, comment, subscribe, share. And catch you all in the next one.